story of the rise of women and the growth of feminist politics that I outlined at the beginning is to say, and here I'm not alone, I mean this is mainly the work of feminist scholars who have got us to this point, that by recognizing that the case for the vote for women was wrapped up often in a fairly, shall we say, energetic racism, nationalism and imperialism. That is to say that women get the vote very often by wrapping themselves up in the Union Jack, demonstrating their patriotic support for the war effort, or by distinguishing themselves from other imperial subjects who they thought should not get the vote. A couple of other points that I want you to remember from today's lecture. First, very important, that separate spheres was never really anything more than an ideal. Never anything really lived out by more than the respectable middle classes and those above them. That is to say, the uneven work of gender is basically socially stratified. Yeah? Depends on which class position you occupy, how much, what your experience of as a woman was in the 19th century. A pretty fundamentally obvious point, but one that bears repeating so that we don't think of women all as one huge amorphous category. There is no question, and I hope I've made this clear today, that the period from the 1870s up till 1928 represent a complete watershed in terms of the professional opportunities and political opportunities that women had. Okay? That they were able to go to university, that they were able to train as doctors and as lawyers, that they were able to get divorced and hold their own property, that they were able to vote. These are enormous, enormous achievements. And yet, we're left with this slight uneasy feeling. Do these achievements, does the advancement of the position of women in this period of time represent, if you like, the triumph of liberalism? That liberalism has come through, it's delivered everything. It's delivered on its universal promise of freedoms and liberties for everybody. Or do we take it as a sign of how difficult they were to achieve and how fundamentally necessary that founding contradiction was, that women were not meant to be part of this universal set of liberties and freedoms? That's the conundrum that I think all feminist scholars basically have to engage, and all scholars of 19th century and indeed 19th and 20th century Anglo-American world. Thank you. I'm sorry I went on a bit today. A lot to cover.